Hi, I'm Jonathan Stanko here with Insight on Softball on icgales.com. I'm here with senior pitcher and infielder Alyssa Maiese. Alyssa, so far your offensive stats this year have been pretty spectacular, leading the team with 25 RBIs. Talk about your offensive approach at the plate.
Well, the first few girls have been doing a great job getting on base, moving themselves over, and so I've been up there with like a productive mentality to get them in, especially being able to pitch the second game in a lot of our double headers, helping myself out at all times, and they've been doing, like I said, such a great job getting on. Especially when I'm pitching, I just need to get that extra run, for myself and for the team.
Okay, and after a month and a half of long out-of-conference games, away games, you're finally going to start the MAC conference this weekend against the Fairfield Stags. What's the team's attitude heading into conference play?
Just definitely, keep up with what we've been doing. We have the next 2 days really hard practices, and just, stay positive and focused and keep our energy up. Our energy is definitely the one thing that we need to, work on, and I think we're going to do a great job, once we get into conference on Sunday.
Okay, now Coach Rivera said that after your split doubleheader against the Seawolves yesterday, you need to improve on some aspects of the game. What do you think the team needs to improve on?
Just definitely the little things, the missed signs, bobbles of the ball. But, I think, we'll be all right, especially, like I said, once, our adrenaline kicks in for our conference games and, we get a little bit more hyped up because we're in conference, I think all that will go away, and I think we'll do a great job.
Now, you've had great success in the MAC for the past 2 years, two-time defending champions. Do you feel extra pressure having the bullseye on your back?
Not at all. I actually think it gives us the upper hand because, we're excited. Yesterday we got our rings, our second rings, and I think, as much as it should put pressure on us, I think that it helps us. It keeps us relaxed and, it helps us come together a lot as a team.
Okay, and a lot of the out-of-conference games you played were some pretty tough teams like Temple and Quinnipiac. How is the stiff competition out of conference going to help you within conference play?
It's definitely helped us, especially offensively and defensively. We've played really good teams with good hitters, preparing our infield with all kinds of plays, bunting, slapping, power hitting, and we've faced some really great pitching, and, it'll help us especially, if we past the MAC tournament, if we make it to regionals again for the third year, you face great competition, and the MAC's a very strong conference, and it only gets better every year, and I think that'll definitely help us.
Okay, now being a registered senior, you have some veteran leadership on the team. Have you given the underclassmen any advice heading into the MAC season to help improve on their stats?
Not so much their stats, but, we definitely, myself and the other captains and seniors, especially, just tell them relax. We do have a lot of freshman starters or, freshmen that play the second game, and, just tell them relax, and it's the game that you love and the game that you've done your whole life, so don't change anything.
Okay, Alyssa, thank you for joining me. I'm Jonathan Stanko here with Insight on Softball on icgales.com.